前面差唔多嘅話就麻煩踎低啦，請你俾後邊嘅行家影影。係前面踎低唔該，同大家講幾句。
同3位司長以及16位非官守嘅行政會議議員呢，係同大家見面。行政會議嘅成員呢，係對行政長官作出決策嘅時候呢，提供意見嘅。行政會議去幫助行政長官作決定呢，係非常重要。而根據基本法，我亦都會當我作重要嘅決定，又或者提交草案俾立法會、制定附屬法例等等呢，都會去徵詢行政會議成員嘅意見，而作出決定。所以我非常感謝16位非官守議員呢，佢接受我嘅邀請，成為行政會議嘅成員。佢哋都來自不同嘅背景，有豐富嘅經驗，去幫助我作決定呢，係好重要嘅。我亦都非常感謝葉劉淑儀女士，佢接受我嘅邀請去出任行政會議嘅召集人。葉太係行政同埋從政嘅經驗咧都係豐富嘅，佢亦都熟悉政府嘅運作，對社會嘅事務亦都非常關心。我好有信心，葉太喺履行召集人嘅職責方面呢，係會做得好有成效，特別係為香港發聲，講好香港嘅故事。我亦都感謝葉太呢方面嘅承擔。咁跟住我請葉太同大家講幾句説話。請阿葉太。
各位早晨。首先係再次多謝行政長官委任我做行會嘅召集人。正如行政長官指出咧，今次嘅行會成員呢，16位非官守成員呢，係有豐富經驗，佢哋來自立法、法律、醫療、金融各方面，都係非常資深嘅專家。我哋被委任係以個人身份，有責任向行政長官提出最佳嘅意見嘅。咁我哋呢係非常團結，琴日已經開工㗎啦。咁我哋向行政長官承諾，未來5年呢，一定盡我哋嘅能力向你提出最佳嘅意見，配合你嘅工作。相信喺我哋通力合作同你嘅領導之下呢，香港一定會有更好嘅發揮嘅。多謝各位。
好多謝葉太。
跟住落嚟咧係提問嘅時間啦。咁啊請陣間有意發問嘅記者咧舉手示意，嗌到你之後咧就請你先。
Hi, thank you, Mr. Lee. This is Kari from Bloomberg. You and President Xi have repeatedly stressed that Hong Kong needs to remain an international connector, yet it's increasingly hard to come into Hong Kong with the quarantine hotels at max capacity and flights repeatedly being cancelled. What is your solution for addressing these issues? And also, you've also mentioned on Sunday that you're worried about the daily cases rising. What measures may you take to control this, including social distancing measures, and are you contemplating a 5-day cut in quarantine, cutting the quarantine to 5 days? Thank you.
Hong Kong is an international city, and we know that we have been suffering from the attack of the pandemic in such a way that a lot of activities have been affected. I'm conscious of the need for Hong Kong to remain open and convenient to travelers. But it is also important that we address the risk at the same time so that we will maintain a good balance. I have already asked the Secretary for Health to look at the evidence and statistics to see how we can, while on the one hand contain the spread of the pandemic, and at the same time reduce the inconvenience to travelers. One of the areas that he's looking at is how the duration of quarantine should be handled. So I am giving him time to look at the statistics so that he will formulate some options for me to consider. The second thing is we must continue to keep the pandemic under control, because if the figures goes up, then consequentially, by ratio, there will be a higher rate of people getting into hospital, which will mean that the hospital service will be affected, even if it may still maintain emergency services, but it will affect other services to people in need, particularly those who require consistent and persistent treatment. So it is important that we strike a balance so that we reduce the inconvenience to people who are not infected. So it is important to find a good method based on science and evidence to reduce inconvenience to people who should be allowed to go about their normal activities once we have identified to be people who are not infected. Another point I would like the Secretary for Health to look into is to ensure people who face higher risks of getting infected and also getting into potentially serious illness, we need to protect them well. So one of the important measures is to make good use of the PCR test so that we can be certain that we will be able to identify those who are infected early, separate them so that they will not be spreading the virus to other people. I know that people are very concerned about the measures that will be taken, but I can tell you that the Secretary for Health is very actively looking at the measures to reduce inconvenience and at the same time ensuring good protection of people who may face a high risk.
下一位提問，右手邊前排。